Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the GloomORG podcast. Today I am joined, or my name is O, and today I am joined by Connor and unfortunately, recently eliminated player from GloomORG 6, Raelee.
Hi, I'm Raelee. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're just gonna chat a little bit with Raelee about her experience in the org. Um, it's just going to be a fun little podcast. Hope you enjoy. So, Connor, you want to start us off?
Yeah. So our first question is, what did you expect coming into the org?
Um, Honestly, I didn't know what to expect because I've never done anything like this before. So it was like all brand new to me. I was trying to explain it to like real life friends and they're like, "How does that work?" And I was like, I really don't know. I'm just gonna go with it. And but I kind of like I was told it was like to play out kind of like actual Survivor, but like I was like, well, how does that work in a Discord setting? But like I think it ran really smoothly. Like you guys seem to have everything like prepared really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, and then obviously, before it even started, you found out that you were going to be playing with former runner-ups. So, as somebody again who was completely new to orgs, what was it like playing with Justin and knowing that he had past experience and had done well in a previous season?
I was a little wary of him, but he was really nice. Like I talked to him the most out of like almost everybody in like that I've talked to this whole time. Um, and I was a little nervous about playing with returnees because they knew exactly how this worked, but like there are other people who played orgs too, so I just wasn't too threatened, but like I was wary.
Yeah. Did you do any reading about his game? Did you join any of the other servers, or did you look at the charts at all? Did you do any research on how Justin played before?
Not at all. Because I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
So I went in entirely blind.
Hmm.
So you really wanted to go to the mission in episode 4. Could you tell us more about that situation?
I mostly just I wanted to try to connect with other people on other tribes just to like establish something. But Bobbert got he really wanted to go and he got picked, but I I just kind of wanted to like suss out what happened on the other journey because like I now know that Harry got an idol and he had an idol clue because I looked through everything when I was after I was voted out. But I was just curious and I wanted to try to see if anything that was said was true, even though when Bobbert came back, I was like, that's literally the same thing Harry said. Like, why would you do that? Um, but I was just interested in going, kind of like for the experience, but I didn't get picked, so I tried to do the puzzle, and that was a flop on my end.
Yeah, that was a tough challenge. So fast forwarding, or I guess not fast forwarding too much, but a little bit. So how were you feeling before you were voted out in episode 5? Did you at all expect to get voted out?
No, I had no idea what was going on. They truly blindsided me. And like game recognized game, that was like a really good blindside, which I have said that if I ever played like actual Survivor, I would want to go out like in kind of a blindside because it would be a little more cool. I don't want to be a forgettable vote. But I had no idea. Like I thought I had Melissa and Addie on our side because I had no idea they were connected with Lindsay. Me and Harry had been talking a lot and Harry made a chart like of like connections that they suspected and like we were just going off of that and we had been tagged tag teaming everything. And I think if Harry and I hadn't been so buddy buddy like publicly, it probably would have gone smoother.
Yeah, Addie and Melissa really like played you guys hard. There,
Yeah, they did.
that was pretty wild to watch. They played both sides like crazy, almost to the point where it was really to the point where unless you read their confessionals, you had no idea which way they were actually leaning. Like that was how hard they played both sides there.
Yeah, like I said, when I was in the chat, I said like it's very hard to read what's going on because I can't see them. Like I read
Mm.
Melissa's confessional and she said, "I'm glad no one can see my face." And I was like, "Yeah, you should be because I probably could have called it, but I would have been more suspicious if we could see each other and actually like speak out loud."
Especially when it's your like first time playing an org. I think it's really hard to tell like how it looks when people are lying.
Yeah, and like part of the thing I was reading like people's like the trust rankings and they were saying, "Well, she didn't talk to me about game until we had lost." And I was like, "Okay, well, I was just trying not to come on too strong like cuz um they also hadn't talked to me about game. So like I know that's partially my fault, but like you didn't also approach me to ask me what I was thinking. Like they asked me like in the beginning what I thought about the tribe and I was like, "Well, everyone seems nice." I didn't know what else to say beyond that. We'd only been together for like 20 minutes. So,
Yeah, not talking game enough is a very common pitfall that can happen with newbies I've seen, and speaking from experienced veterans too. Even people sometimes don't talk game enough and don't even realize they're doing it, and it can put you in a bad spot. But luckily for you, your tribe won those first few challenges, so I think you had more time to integrate yourself and
mhm.
as opposed to it being an early vote out.
Yeah. Especially like reading that I was towards the bottom after I got voted out, I was like, "Oh dang, I was in way more trouble than I thought I was."
Yeah.
I thought I was just kind of like being in the middle. I was trying to come off as like non-threatening and just like a kind of a person who like in the future could be a like a goat, but like I didn't want to be a goat, you know?
Uh-huh.
I was thinking in terms of actual survivor, not an org because I'd never done one before.
Yeah.
That actually kind of like segues into the next question, which is after going through confessionals and alliances, how did your perception of the game differ from what was actually happening? How about your perception of your place in the game specifically?
It was very eye-opening. I've like was said in the chat, it was a learning curve. Like I'm like, well, next time I'll talk game way more faster. But uh obviously I was like in the dark in places that I had no idea, which is what made it so they could easily blindside me. Um, like you said, like Melissa and Addie were completely playing the middle the whole time. And I've been reading Harry's confessionals, and they're saying like, or no, I've been reading their alliance chats, and they've been saying like, oh, we're gonna try to build trust with Harry, and I'm just like, don't do it, Harry, don't do it. But like reading everything is just like, oh, I was in way more trouble than I thought I was gonna be. But yeah, I guess I've learned a thing or two from experience.
Yeah. It's all a learning
Yeah, it's
experience.
definitely hard to gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure if you play more orgs, you'll get better and better at it.
Hmm.
So of the cast, who did you enjoy playing with the most?
Definitely Harry because like I feel like I worked with them the most. We were tag teaming things unsuccessfully, but still I was having a good time when we were doing all of that. And I really liked playing with T because T and I had a lot of really good talks. Even if they had me ranked kind of low usually, but sometimes I was in the middle of their rankings. But we had a lot of really good talks in the DMs. just like game wise, they were the best to play with. And I was really hoping I could get like reunited with them at the merge.
Hmm. Yeah. I have another question as well. So based on what you can see, or based on what you've seen as things are right now, as we're recording this, which is shortly before the episode 6 immunity results are announced. Who do you, if you could just make one prediction, who do you think is going to win the game from what you've seen?
Addie, definitely. Just like I haven't been too far into the other tribe. I've kind of been just keeping an eye on the one I was on, and I've been like skimming the other tribe. But definitely Addie. She's playing the social game really well, and she's been holding a lot of cards to her chest. And I think there's a chance to like there's always a chance someone can make a mistake, but like she's been like she had me fooled from the beginning. And I
Yeah,
think she's got Harry fooled other than like voting me out. But Harry does seem to have like a wariness that I hope they hold on to.
yeah. I mean, I think I agree, and I think the only thing standing, one of the only things really standing in Addie's way that we can see right now is Harry and that idol of theirs. So I'm curious to
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, I've seen Harry say something about playing the idol, and I'm like, "No, don't do it because they are talking about keeping them. And I'm like, don't play the idol, don't flush that idol because they don't
Yeah.
know they don't know that they have it. So
Yeah.
even I didn't know Harry had an idol. Like they didn't tell me, and I was just
Yeah.
like, well, good on them. I talked way too much.
Yeah, Harry told no one about, not even T. They were even fooling T, who was like their closest ally.
Which
Yeah,
is kind of uncommon in orgs. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
usually tell people they have idols, which I'm kind of surprised and impressed that Harry hasn't done yet.
yeah. Like I was, because like at first I thought Harry was telling us a lot. Because when they came back and they'd said all this stuff about the journey, I was like, oh wow, like they just seem really nervous and like they need to tell us everything. So that's good. And then I come to find that they are keeping secrets. So hopefully that'll take them far because I'm rooting for Harry specifically so they can avenge me.
Yeah, I think that definitely goes back to a little bit that experience. Harry
Yeah.
is by far not with Discord orgs specifically, but Harry is by far the most experienced org player in this game. They've been playing orgs, Survivor orgs and stuff for years and years.
Wow.
I think that definitely they've probably I don't know if they even give a number, but I'm sure it's at least over 20, if not many more, that they've played.
Wow.
I think that definitely shows their skill level and how and
Hmm.
how they're, or that's, it's an example, or you get what I'm trying to say. It's how they're so good at,
Yeah.
they know how to handle people.
Yeah, exactly. Like people who play stuff like that a lot, like you see it on these types of shows all the time, the returning players on Survivor. They don't always do great, but like if you let someone slip through your fingers, they do really great. And it's the same on like Big Brother. The returning players always make it super far on Big Brother.
Hmm. All right,
All
well,
right, so we have one more
yeah, one more
question.
question.
Fisher had some strong opinions on your being a My Hero Academia fan. Thoughts?
Okay, I love My Hero Academia. Um I I watch a lot of anime and I'm just like whatever. They can I was like, is that why they stopped like talking to me that day? Is because I said I liked it because they asked me what type of anime I liked. And that was the first one I thought of because like I am a big fan of it, but like I think I reconnected with them because I said my favorite was Mob Psycho 100, which is true. And they were like, "Oh yeah, that one's great." And I was like, "Okay." But I had no idea. I was like, is it because I like it or because they don't like it? Is it because of the fan base or the show? Like I know the fan base is whack, but
Yeah,
um
My Hero Academia tends to get a lot of hate.
yeah, like I think the manga and the show, I think the show is pretty good. I love the manga. But the and as a person who is a part of the fan base, it gets really whack over there.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it gets really insane. I'm currently avoiding that side of Twitter right now because there's been some really stupid drama over there.
Oh my goodness. That's right. You were recruited from Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Uh
you might have been the only person this season that was recruited from Twitter, I believe. Not 100% sure
yeah,
though.
Kara found me on Twitter and messaged me and asked me if I wanted to play. And I'd been messaged a couple times before, and I wasn't like from other groups, and I wasn't sure about it at the time. And I was like, you know what? Like, I may as well try this. So,
Yeah, well, thank you so much for playing.
yeah,
It was great having you on. I wish you lasted longer.
yeah.
Um, and yeah,
I was
I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. I was honestly shocked to see people like liked me in the chat. I was looking and I was like, "Oh, people liked me. That's crazy." I always expect people not to like me. Um,
You were
and
very big preseason like favorite.
Yeah,
oh my God. I'm honored and I'm sorry I was a disappointment.
you weren't a disappointment. You know, it's there's because there can still be great pre-merge characters, right?
Yeah, true, true. Some of my favorites were from the pre-merge and like
Hmm.
actual Survivor. Um, But yeah, I was like, oh, people liked me. And then I was seeing some of the things like when I asked, when I said, told Parker, good job on the slide puzzle, I literally had just forgotten that because they had offered to, or he had offered to do the slide puzzle at one point, and I literally forgot that he wasn't the one to do it. I had worked all day. I came home and did the word search, and then I was like, well, I'm going to say good job to everyone because they said good job to me. And I just forgot.
Yeah, yeah, that's another good lesson for orgs. Always check your facts before you
Yeah.
speak. I think that's that's one of the things that also can make one of the biggest reasons why it's very hard to read people in orgs is that you have all, I mean, not unlimited, but you have time to think before you speak, and you can carefully
Hmm.
craft your words because you're sending a message instead of talking to somebody.
Yeah. I definitely I was kind of taking notes. I guess I need to do a better job next time. And then the typos, that was embarrassing.
It's all right.
I
You are far from the only org player to make typos. We we all do it.
yeah,
It's like a running joke that org players can't read.
Yes.
yeah, I have dyslexia, so I will see. I'll be like, "Yep, that looks right." And then I'll just put my phone down and then like I will go back up and read some of the things I said and I'm like, "Oh my God, that makes no sense."
All right. Well, I think we'll close it out there. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, Raelee.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was great having you on.
Hmm.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys.